Good evening. This is Ken in Kansas for True Storytelling, and I wanted to complete my thoughts about the phenomenology of the story circle experience. What happens when you engage in true storytelling? So, we have a weekly true story circle, a sacred story circle, and each week we start with a story seed that's been nominated by vote of the people, and we think about that week story seed for the entire week. We drill down, we think our way through our concepts, the episodes and events of our lives, our memories, and we're doing a deep exploration and a reflection on our lived experiences until we have a true story that communicates our feelings and our best understandings of what that concept, what that story seed means to me. And I've gone through layers and levels of my experience. And I bring that to the story circle and enter that sacred ritual space. And when it's my turn, I tell my story like other people tell their stories about that seed in the middle and what's implied or what's unspoken, maybe. But what is there present is also my whole context, the stories I've ever told with these folks, the experiences, and my lived experience at a deep level that's brought to the surface and shared. What happens is that you come with your best understanding of what that concept means as you have lived it. And when you engage in deep listening, you are hearing many different perspectives from many different lived lives, of which you may know something, but how much can we really know of each other? And what you can deeply listen to is what is said and what is unsaid. And your deep listening lets you hear how that concept has embodied meaning in other people's lives. And so, if your story, as told, is a testimony to your memories and events and life experiences, it shines a light on that concept from your perspective. It's like one facet, one face of a jewel. But when you listen to everybody else's stories at a deep level, you are actually listening and helping to create a shared, multifaceted, dynamic jewel that shows all the many different faces of that deep concept. And that gives you a whole new set of perspectives, and it can deepen your insights into your own life because now you have all these other angles and lights of truth. And so if you brought a true story into that circle, you leave that circle with a whole book of new perspectives to reflect even deeper in your own life. Shown in slightly another way. That when I'm engaged in that deep self exploration, um, you know, 80% of what I don't tell in the story, but what I bring from my memories, and 20% is what I choose to, it rises to the level of the story that I tell. And so if each of us is providing 20% of our lived experience and the 80% is implied, it's not really 80-20. It's really 80 in here plus my little 20. So it's not just what you tell, which is powerful and liberating and transformational, because it strikes a note about what that thing really means to you at that moment. But even more, it's what you hear and what you take with you for deeper reflection. Those are the gifts of truth of others. And if those are like little lanterns in the dark and different angles, you get to carry that back with you and start exploring all of the other areas that you didn't even go into when you were assembling your first story for whatever reason. And that's really the power of this. You go into here thinking that you know what you know about that concept, whether it was intuition, fear and greed, purpose and identity, friendship, commitment, whatever the topic might be. And that's really, you did the best you could to tell your true story. But what you walk away with are so many different insights to your own lived experience just from the stories as they're being told. Because as you hear that, you say, oh, wow, and without trying to process it or give advice or to respond in any way, but just to listen deeply and watch those ideas and angles and perceptions and illuminations, uncovering all of these other deep areas that maybe you didn't even go there because you either forgot or didn't even know it was there. That's really the transformational, illuminating power of a sacred story circle because of the intention to share our best truths from our deepest lived experiences. That commitment to tell your story is what opens you to the commitment to listen deeply to other people's stories, and you appreciate them even more, and you appreciate the gift they've given you to see yourself and your lived experiences in new and different ways. Aho, as it should be.